Welcome, everybody, to Fuse Live week number 2. My name is Jeremy. It's so great to see each one of you, and I can see each one of you because I can see who's watching the video now. We're glad that you're here, or at least at your house, or wherever you're at watching. Hopefully you're 6 feet apart from whoever you're closest to in the room. But thank you for tuning in for Fuse Live week number 2. Now, this is our first shot at streaming live on YouTube. So here's what I need for you to do right from the start. I need for you to take a second to just make a comment. And here's what I would like for you to comment. I would like for you to introduce yourself with your first and last name. And then I would like for you to come up with an alternate first or last name. And here's how I want you to do that. I want for you to take the color of shirt that you're wearing, and I want for you to look to your right, and whatever the closest thing is to your right, make that be your last name. So I would be Red Tripod. That's going to be my new name for this live video. So go ahead, take a few seconds, comment your actual name and your new Fuse Live name in the comments. It would be amazing if you did that. We know that right now you are social distancing yourself, and that's probably with your family. And for some of you, that could either be a really cool thing, or maybe some of you could be a really bad thing for you to be alone with your family all the time. So for our video of the week this week, I wanted to present to you another video from Trey Kennedy as he kind of explores what it might mean for you to see things through the perspective of a mom during this time of staying and sheltering in place, staying at home. Here's our video of the week.
And we are now reporting all schools closed until further notice.
Lord Jesus, get me straight. Woo, no school! Welcome home, sweetie. Sit still. Hey, quit moving. Close your eyes. You're wasting me. Just because you guys are home from school doesn't mean we're playing video games all day. You understand me? Okay? I have some extra jobs for you guys right here. Oh my gosh. Honestly, this is a good thing, because we've been needing to do these things for a long time. These baseboards, filthy.
What are baseboards?
Get over here. You were doing your times tables. Get over here.
Oh, I already know them.
Come do these. You know what? What's 9 times 7?
69?
Young man, are you? How old are you?
11 and a half? How old are you? 69?
It feels like it. Raising you. Oh my god. Hey, it's 9:30. This is getting a little ridiculous. We're not just gonna sleep all day because there's no school. Come on. I told you to leave this in your room. I'm getting sick and tired of you. Get out! We're cleaning out your closet. This has been needing to be done for a long time. Why can't you wear nicer shirts like this? Put it on. Okay, really. How many times are we wearing this? Put it in the donate pile. Grab it and put it in the donate pile.
I want this. Why not?
How about you hop in the donate pile?
What? Will you ever leave this house again?
Hey, quiet down. Quit being so dramatic.
I'm a freaking teenager. I'm bored.
Read a book. Read something. Come on, find something to read.
This chocolate tastes like poop.
That's Mommy's dark chocolate. Do not touch it again. And yeah, I'm glad you don't like it. 78% cacao. Which is also the grade you have in Mrs. Hendrickson's class. Well, do we need to talk about that a little bit more? I'm sick and
Mom, are you crying because you're watching This Is Us again?
No, I'm crying because this is us, right now. You're logged into class? Hey, are you logged into class?
Yes, I am.
So if I come over there, I'll see Mrs. Hendrickson's face.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, let me see.
I promise. Wait, hold on, no.
Do you want some brownies, sweetie?
Yes! Oh my gosh, yes!
Well, everything you need's right there in that kitchen. Why don't you get going on that? I'd love some.
What? Why would you ask then? That's so mean!
Stuff just doesn't magically appear. Sometimes you have to do something.
Oh my god. Come on. Revive me! Come on, no, hurry! Oh, Jackson, what are you doing?
Look, someone wrote a memoir about us.
Help!
And there you go, our video of the week. Hopefully that was not too painful for you to watch, and hopefully your mom has not been as crazy as what Trey Kennedy has in that video. So we're going to move on to a time of worship, and I'm excited to do this. And here's what I encouraged you to do last week, and I would encourage you the same thing this week, that as we take a few moments to sing songs and to worship, that I would encourage you, one, to make sure your headphones are in and that you take a few moments to actually sing along with us. I know it can be awkward just sitting in your room, and you'll probably have a tendency to want to just stare at the screen and to not sing along. But we would encourage you to sing along with these songs. And here's why worship is really important, and I just want to talk to you about it for a second. Worship is so important because it allows us to take a few moments to get our minds and our thoughts off of ourselves and our current situations, and it allows for us to be able to focus on Jesus and to be able to think about who he is, how good he is, the blessings that he has given us, how faithful he has been to us. All of those things we allow ourselves to focus on when we worship, as opposed to just thinking about all the things we're going through and to just be focused on ourselves. We're doing the opposite of that by focusing on Jesus during worship. So take a few seconds, watch this bumper, and then we'll get started with worship as soon as this video is over with. Prepare yourselves to focus on Jesus, to lift your voices and sing, and forget everything that's going on and just simply focus on the King of Kings in these next few moments.
Since the beginning of time, God has been pursuing mankind. His pursuit is steadfast and unwavering. His love is resolute and unmatched. From the moment of our first breath, we have all been searching for hope. In every human heart, there is a longing for true purpose and meaning. There is a sense that we were meant for more. Our city is filled with people searching for truth, searching for answers. These answers can't be found in quick fixes, self-help books, or our limited ability to understand the meaning of life. Eternity is within us. The kingdom of God isn't a place, it's a people who are pursued by their Creator and are found in the midst of their searching. You see, where the pursuit of God and the searching of mankind collide, there is Jesus. The bridge to the one true God, Jesus. The beginning and the end, Jesus. The perfect example of perfect love, Jesus. The one who loves us in spite of our failures, takes our worst, and gives us his best, Jesus. The way, the truth, and the life, the one who broke the chains of our sin, the one who has the power to heal and restore, the one who defeated death and rose victorious on the third day, Jesus. No other name is higher, no other name is greater, no other name than the one we celebrate today, Jesus.
I encourage you to sing along wherever you're at.
Who breaks the power of sin and darkness? His love is mighty and so much stronger. The King of glory, the King above all kings. He shakes the whole earth with holy thunder and leaves us breathless in awe and wonder. The King of glory, King above all kings. This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love. That you would take my place. That you would bear my cross. You'd lay down your life. That I would be set free. Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. Who brings our chaos? Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of glory, the King of glory, who rules the nations with truth and justice, shines like the sun in all of its brilliance. The King of glory, the King above all kings. This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love. That you would take my place. That you would bear my cross. You'd lay down your life. That I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. Worthy Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy, worthy, worthy. Oh, this is amazing grace. This is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. Oh, you laid down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, just sing for all that you've done for me. 'Cause you are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're working in this place. I worship you, I worship. Sing this with me, sing Waymaker. You are Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 'Cause you are here, touching every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're healing every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're turning lives around. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're mending every heart. I worship you, I worship you. 'Cause you are Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Oh, we believe. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. That is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even never stop working. You never stop working. 'Cause even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop, no. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Oh, you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. Yes, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. Cause you are a waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are.
This is my moment. I refuse to let you define me. From this day forward, I serve you notice. I'm in the book of Romans. If God is for me, there's no need to be frightened by my opponents. Let's get it. Yeah, they counted me out a long time ago. Still, I'm determined to win it. Won't let that affect me, no, not at all. I gotta silence the critics. I know every giant is bound to fall. I've been counting down the minutes. When I see you, ain't no love at all. We gon' fight until it's finished. Cause you made some bets and now you can expect that I can't ignore. Your voice in my head when my fear lie down there, there's no stopping me now. I'm ready for war. Good riddance and I doubt I miss you. This is far from a little issue. Tolerated you my whole life. Been too long, I gotta deal with you. I've been working on my techniques. Now I think I'm ready for you, let's meet. Nowhere to hide or escape. You pick the time and the place. I'm in the ring, suit and tie on, waiting early. This is all business, I ain't come to play. You kept on calling me out. Boy, you should've never done that. It's too late for you to run back. I hope you ready for a bloodbath. Your demise is predestined, yeah. It's a defeat that you can't avoid. You won't make it, I'm King David when he was still a little shepherd boy. Underestimated underdog, Lord, I'm gonna make him believe. Slingshot in a smooth stone, bring the giant to his knees. I'm just trying to leave a legacy. I'm a young Adonis Creed. Uppercuts to the midsection. I'ma make it hard to breathe. Hope you ready for defeat, yeah. I'm delighted by the thought. Born to conquer, I'm a king, and Goliath must fall.
If you're watching live right now and you're able to comment, can you just show some love to a former Fuse student, Ember Stapleton, coming back from Arizona to play some bass guitar for you guys? Show some love to Ember in the comments. Also, I feel like I'm obligated to say, because of YouTube culture, that please subscribe and like this video as well if you're watching it post being live. We are in a series called Goliath Must Fall. And for the past few weeks, we have talked about different giants that exist in our lives and why we need to go aggressively take them down and take them out from not existing. And we're continuing in week 3, and I wanted to start with a story, and I wanted to start by asking you a question, those of you at home watching. Have you ever met a celebrity? So if you're watching and you've met someone you would consider to be a celebrity, I want for you to comment the name of that celebrity, do a little bit of a flex here on everybody, and put the name of a celebrity that you have met, or maybe you didn't meet them, but you're just like really close to them. Like you were at a Starbucks one time and they were at the Starbucks and you didn't say hi to them, but you were close to them. That counts too. So just put the name of that celebrity, because I wanna see who you all have met. Because I had a situation happen to me several years ago that was quite overwhelming. What happened? Let me start it this way. one of my friends was nominated for a K-Love Fan Award. K-Love is a radio station. And when he was nominated for the award, he was gracious enough to invite me to join him at the Fan Awards as one of his VIP guests. So, you get the cool badge, and you get to go to a bunch of other stuff that not everybody else gets to go to. And so we were on our way to go to a lunch with some people, and me and my friend, we walked up, and we didn't know who was going to be at this lunch meeting. We just knew we were supposed to meet at a place, and then we would walk to that meeting. And so me and my friend, we were the first ones there, and so we started to wait. And up the stairs comes two people that, if you like Christian music, you're probably very familiar with. There was a gentleman by the name of Toby Mack who walked up the stairs. And he was joined by another former member of a group called of DC Talk. And so they came up, and they just joined our conversation. We introduced ourselves, and I was like, oh, no, I know who you are. You don't have to introduce yourselves to me. And so as we're walking, as we're waiting for other people to join us, there was a gentleman by the name of Scott Stapp who was in a band called Creed, which was one of my favorite bands growing up. He walked up, and I was like, I can't process what's happening right now. This is literally too much. And we're all just casually standing around, just hanging out. And then a NASCAR driver walks up and joins our circle. And then as we're walking, Michael W. Smith walks up and joins our circle. And so all right, guys, I think we're ready to go. And so we start walking through the hotel, and I start to realize the situation around me is there are some very famous people that I'm walking around this hotel with right now, and nobody has a freaking clue as to who I am. And so we get to the elevators because we're going up to the top. I find out later it's going to be the board of directors for K-Love is the lunch we're going to. And I couldn't process what was happening. So we all got on the elevator, and I remember having a moment of clarity. And I remember thinking to myself, looking up to my 7-foot-tall friend, and looking around at who was in the elevator going, I am the least important person on this elevator right now. If this elevator crashed, my name would not get put on the list of people who died in the elevator crash because I'm not important enough to actually be listed in the newspaper. Everybody else would get the headlines. They would be like, oh, and some other people. Me would be the some other people. I just remember thinking, I'm not very significant in this elevator right now. I'm just a youth pastor, and all these people have thousands and millions of records sold and are worth a lot more money than I am. It was quite a humbling experience to have happened. And so we're going to get into week 3 of Goliath Must Fall. And here's where I want for you to understand and where we're going with this. Is in that moment, I thought, I'm really not that important. And I think that for a lot of us, a lot of you watching where you're at right now and where you're at in this phase of your life, you might feel like that on a regular basis. That there might be times in your life where you're like, I don't feel like I'm significant or that I'm very important in what's going on right now. We're going to continue on in our story. So if you have your Bibles or if you have your digital Bibles, turn to 1 Samuel chapter 17. If you joined us last week or the past 2 weeks, we're continuing on in this story of David versus Goliath. So we're going to be in 1 Samuel chapter 17. We're going to start in verse 12. And I just want to read this to you and to kind of set up what we're going to talk about tonight. Now, if you haven't read the Bible or you're new to this whole Jesus thing, what's happened is the nation of Israel is in the middle of they're divided between a valley and the Philistines, and there's a dude who's 9 foot tall named Goliath who every day comes out and taunts the people of Israel because he knows that they can't win in a fight against him. And they've challenged, Goliath has challenged them and said, you don't stand a chance. Why do you even waste your time coming out here in battle formations? And the Israelites are pretty scared of this dude because they know none of them can beat him in battle. So this we're going to pick up in verse 12 of 1 Samuel chapter 17. It says this, Now David was the son of the Ephthite from Bethlehem of Judah named Jesse. Jesse had 8 sons, and during Saul's reign was already an old man. Jesse's 3 oldest sons had followed Saul to war. So, they're battling. We're introduced to a guy by the name of Jesse. He has 8 sons, and David is one of those sons. And he's kind of the main character in the end of our story. So he had 3 sons that went to battle with Saul. And every morning and every evening for 40 days, the Philistine came out, and he took his stand, and he did what he was going to do. So verse 17, this is where we pick up. One day, Jesse had told his son David, take this half bushel of roasted grain, along with these 10 loaves of bread for your brothers, and hurry to their camp. Also, take these 10 portions of cheese to the field commander. Apparently, the field commander really liked cheese. I don't know why. That was the thing they needed to do. Check on the well-being of your brothers and bring confirmation from them. He's asking them, go see if they're alive, and if they are, come tell me so I can confirm that they're still alive. They were with Saul, and all the men of Israel in the valley of Elah are fighting with the Philistines. Now, here's what I want for you to understand as we're reading this. We have this really big cinematic scene of the nation of Israel versus the Philistine army. There's this glorious battle scene set up, and this story cuts to a story of an old man whose son is going to do a DoorDash grocery delivery session to the middle of the battlefield. And it seems, if we're being honest, it seems kind of random or seemingly insignificant that we get an introduction of people here in this story. Most people want to know how the battle is going, what's happening on the battlefield. Now, David is a shepherd. He's a teenager. He's believed to be about the age of 14 to 17 years old when this part of his story is told in 1 Samuel. So if you're sitting at home and you're between the ages of 14 to 17, I want for you to imagine and understand it's someone similar to you that David is in this part of his life, that his father sent him out to go into war. And here's what I want to talk to you about. Even though this little part of our story seems so insignificant and really kind of trivial at this point in the story, I want to talk to you for a second because our Goliath that must fall this week is the Goliath of insignificance. Because here's the honest truth. When we read this story, we're like, why is this even here? Why did they even put him in this story? It seems insignificant. All of you know this Goliath, though. The Goliath of insignificance. In moments when you feel like you should be at your best, there's this little voice inside of you or these thoughts that come up that make you feel less than important or insignificant in your life. And it's these questions and these voices and these moments over and over again that make this Goliath so towering and so large because it shuts us down so quickly. Questions like, why am I here? Why am I even doing this? Does this matter? Does what I do even matter? I'm not even good at anything, so why should I even try? This seems like it's pointless. All of these things are the voice of the giant of insignificance just spitting out words in your thoughts and in your life. And I'm curious, as I'm talking about that, what area of your life would you say that you battle the Goliath of insignificance? Because it's not if you battle, but it's where and when do you battle that? Because this Goliath does exist, and it has to fall, and it needs to go down in each one of our lives. Let's keep reading. Verse 20 says this, so David got up early in the morning. He left the flock, which is his sheep, with someone to keep it. He loaded up, and he set out as his dad Jesse had charged him. He arrived at the perimeter of the camp as the army was marching out to its battle formation, shouting their battle cry. Israel and the Philistines lined up in battle formation facing each other. David left his supplies in the care of the quartermaster and ran to the battle line. And when he arrived, he asked his brothers how they were. He's like, hey guys, how's it going? Verse 23, while he was speaking with them, suddenly the champion named Goliath, the Philistine from Gath, came forward from the Philistine battle line and shouted his usual words. That phrase right there. Goliath shouted his usual words. I feel like it's so accurate for me and probably for you too. Because sometimes those usual words that we hear over and over and over again are what make us feel so insignificant in moments of our life. His usual words. He came out speaking them, which David heard for the first time. And when all the Israelite men saw Goliath, they retreated from him because they were terrified. Now, it would appear, stick with me for a second, because right now there's probably something going on in your room or in your house, and you're starting to lose attention, or you probably want to go to another YouTube video right now at this point. But stick with me for just a few moments, because it would appear at this moment of David doing his food delivery service that it's meaningless for him to even be in this moment and in this situation. But here's what I want for you to understand. And if you're taking notes, please write this down. David has to be in this place right now to be able to be a part of the battle with Goliath later on. If David doesn't get to here first, he doesn't get to the end of the story where he defeats Goliath. And listen, it seems so meaningless that he's doing grocery runs for his dad right now. But from our perspective, most moments that we're a part of, or the actions that we do or that we take part of, they seem insignificant to us. I'm just going to work. I'm just going to school. I'm just doing what my mom and dad asked me to do. I'm just doing my homework. Most things in our life seem like they're not important or that they're insignificant. And here's why that's a dangerous perspective to have. Here's why it's dangerous, because we need to always recognize that God can use us at any moment. Let me put that up here on the screen because I want for you to see it and to recognize it and to realize it. We need to always recognize that God can use any situation, both for His good and for His glory. It doesn't matter how meaningless or insignificant you might feel in the moment, or it might seem. God is way bigger than things we could even process or understand. And God is way bigger than any giant that we're ever going to face. And He can use any situation for good and for His glory. One of my mentors in ministry, when I first started out in ministry, told me this phrase, and it has been a life changer for me. And so I just want for you to think about this and consider this. He told me, he looked at me with a conversation we were having, and he looked at me and he said, "You don't know how God has been at work when you aren't around." So a moment might seem insignificant or unimportant, or in a moment you might feel insignificant or unimportant because of what's happening. And I just want to look at you, and I know you're watching in live, and I want for you to understand you don't know in any situation how God has been at work when you aren't around. So when you walk into a coffee shop, well, not now, but after everything opens back up, when you walk into a coffee shop and you see a friend maybe you haven't talked to in a few weeks, and you want to go initialize and have a conversation with them, maybe a spiritual conversation, while you might feel like you don't have the words to say, or you're not enough, or you feel insignificant in that moment, you don't know how God has been at work when you aren't around. If you've been wanting to invite someone to church, or to be able to strike up a spiritual conversation with your parents or your friends, and you feel like you're not enough, or why would I even waste my time doing that? You don't know how God has been at work when you aren't around. So why do we fight this Goliath? Why would we waste our time fighting this Goliath of insignificance? Because sometimes it feels like this thing is so difficult to fight. Because in moments when we feel like we're worth nothing, it seems so difficult to act and to do things and to see things in the right way. Here's what I want for you to understand. In the book of Ephesians, there's a verse that says, "For we are God's workmanship, created in Christ to do good works." And that word for workmanship is the Greek word poema, and it's where we get our word for poem, meaning that when God was thinking of you and He created you, you were a creative act when He created you. In fact, meaning you are the very opposite of insignificant. No matter what you've been told or what you have believed up to this point, we need to fight the Goliath of insignificance because we weren't created to be insignificant. In fact, we were created in a significant way when God created us. Secondly, we need to fight this because when this Goliath wins, when insignificance wins in our lives as people who are following after Jesus, we never get to actually see who we were created to be. We never get to actually see who we were created to be. Hopefully, each one of you are on this journey and following after Jesus. And if you let insignificance rule you and let you feel like that all the time, you're never going to get to see who God created you to be. We have a phrase that we talk about here at Fuse a lot, and it's on our bumper video, and we talk about it. It's on our T-shirts. Let me read this for you. You were created on purpose and for a purpose. Can I just tell you to stop and think about how this lines up with how you view yourself? You were created on purpose and for a purpose. The Goliath of insignificance wants you to never believe this, but this couldn't be more accurate, that God created you, that you were on his mind when he created you, and that he has something for you to do as a purpose for you. Just like David seems like it's insignificant, he's in this field right now. There was a purpose for David to be in that field at that moment because God had significant work for him to do. Let me finish up here in verse 31. So how do we fight this Goliath of insignificance? What David said was overheard and reported to Saul, so he had David brought to him. And David said to Saul, this is a boy talking to a king. Don't let anyone be discouraged by him. Your servant will go and fight this Philistine. David says, don't let anybody worry about, I'm going to take care of this dude. But Saul replied, you can't go fight this Philistine. You're just a youth. He has been a warrior since he was young. And David answered Saul, your servant has been tending to his father's sheep. Whenever a lion or a bear came and carried off a lamb from the flock, I went after it. I struck it down, and I rescued the lamb from its mouth. And if it reared up against me, I would grab it by its fur, I would strike it down, and I would kill it. Your servant, David, has killed lions and bears, and this Philistine will be just like one of them. I think that we often, in moments where we feel less or we feel insignificant, we start to ask a series of questions like, what's the point? Why am I here? Can I even do this? Is this even worth it? And I just want to tell you that I think there's a different set of questions that we need to be asking if we want to defeat this Goliath of insecurity. And here's the first one. Why am I here? And this question is very simple, but not in the tone of complaining, but in the tone of asking to find out the answer. God, why am I here in this spot right now? I don't feel like I'm good enough to be in this spot. I don't feel qualified. It feels like this is meaningless. God, could you tell me why I'm here? Because I believe that I have a purpose for being in this spot in my life. And just like David said, hey, I fought these battles, I fought these animals, and those fights have prepared me for this fight. The second question I would have you ask yourself is, how is what I'm going through right now going to prepare me for what I'm going to go through later on? Because you can feel confident and victorious when you stand in the middle of questions and uncertainty and you feel insignificant when you can go, no. This is a significant moment, and I've been ready for this moment because I know what God has done in the past. So let me ask you, what does it look like for you to fight this Goliath of insignificance? Because Goliath must fall if we want to be the people we were created to be and we want to live the life that God has for us to live. So I'm hoping and I'm praying that over these next few weeks, as you have some time to get alone by yourself, that you'll ask these questions, that you'll remember you were created on purpose and for purpose, and that the Goliath of insecurity will fall when we fuel our faith and not our fear in every situation. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Share this link with your friends on Instagram, because every person is fighting this Goliath, and we need to make sure that it falls in the life of everyone. God bless you guys. We will see you next Wednesday night, same time, same YouTube channel. Remember, subscribe, like, give us a comment of anything that you loved or anything that stood out to you in this lesson time. We'll see you next week. God bless you guys.